KSP for the Ozarks, keeping you connected. This is KSPR News at 10.
What? We are still in storm mode. Yes, we have team coverage as more storms move through the Ozarks tonight.
They have brought rain and damaging winds in some places. KSPR's Matt Berman is live in one of those towns, Ava. The look at the debris left behind. And Rachel DeBrovin is live in Nixa with an update on roads that were flooded during the latest round of flooding. But first, let's check in with our early warning weather chief meteorologist, Kevin Leidy. See what's happening right now. Is the rain done, Kevin?
Well, almost. We're almost there. Hang in there, guys. We're dealing still with showers and even some storms, some lightning still showing up in some of this activity here. As you can see, now west of portions of Mountain Home. We've got a steady rain from Salem back down to Houston right now. More activity rolling through West Plains and even into portions of Christian County as the rain continues. Let's put a loop on this. It seems like as one line goes through, we get some others that try to develop behind it. I don't think we're totally out of the woods here yet. There is a flood warning that is still in effect for a few of our counties here to the south and west. So how's that morning rush going to be? Well, still use a little caution there. Few showers, upper 60s. Some of those creeks and rivers and streams are still coming up. It takes some time for those to finally crest, and that's happening here tonight. So those are still going to come up here tonight. But by the evening rush, I think we're a lot better warming up, clearing the rain out. We'll talk about, again, how we can still see some rain overnight coming up a little bit later. Lee?
Thanks, Kevin. That flooding trapped a mother and son in Monette after they fell into a ravine. Two were driving on flooded roads when the car got submerged. When they got out of the vehicle, they fell into the ravine. People nearby were able to quickly and safely get them out of the water, and they are doing just fine tonight. Continuing our coverage of flooding across the Ozarks, Nixa was pounded with 2 rounds of storms tonight that caused flash flooding in multiple neighborhoods.
People living off of Tracker Road just west of Highway 13 watched their roads and lawns just disappear under the floodwaters. That's where KSPR's Rachel DeBrovin joins us live with an update on the conditions. Rachel, you've been there all evening. How's it looking there now?
Hey, Jerry, we are out here on Tracker Road. The rain has finally let up, which is nice because it feels like it's just been raining all night here. Like I said, I'm on Tracker Road. I want to show you how much of this road is flooded. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's night, but I can tell you it's covered in water between like Windsor and Eagle Crest, and it's been like that for hours. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get through here anytime soon. Now let's take a look at some flooding footage we shot earlier during the daytime so you can really see how badly Nixa got flooded. Now, Granite Court was flooded, and it still is. That's just down the street from where I am right now. It was so bad that a kid could even kayak right there in his cul-de-sac. Now, many lawns along Stone Creek Drive are just covered in water still because of that rain, and people who live here say they've just been getting hit with storms all summer, and so the ground is already so saturated. With this storm, the water really had nowhere to go. One woman we spoke with said she busted not 1 but 2 lawnmowers this summer because she was trying to mow that really wet grass.
When I took the mower out a couple weeks ago to do the push mower, I took it out to the middle, right where the river is running through right now, and I ran it down that line, and the mower choked up and caught, and that was the end of my push mower. You hear the blades start to seize up, and I think it slipped the belt, but it's working so hard trying to cut through this wet grass. It's just not, hasn't been working well.
Now, Nixa got rain at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. They got another big storm just a couple hours later. Again, I want to remind you that Tracker Road here, it's closed off. You're not going to get through. Just keep that in mind if that is part of your morning commute. Highway 13, it's just about a quarter mile behind me. Jerry?
Brutal birthday duty for Rachel DeBrovin tonight, but thank you very much for your reporting tonight, Rachel. Continuing our team coverage now with damage in Mount Zion, Missouri, near Ava.
A severe storm passed through that area in Douglas County just hours ago. That's where we find KSPR's Matt Berman live at the Mount Zion Fire Station with the latest. Matt?
That's right, Lee. The rain is still coming down right now. Now, earlier this evening, we saw some lightning and heard some pretty loud thunder here in Mount Zion. The fire station, number 2, right next to me, had a large tree come down on top of the building. But less than an hour later, volunteers had it removed and stacked next to the station.
It was started about 3:15.
trees, limbs, and leaves covering most of Mount Zion.
The tree was on top of the firehouse. It's got a hole up there through the roof.
Delbert Murray is the Mount Zion fire chief and says he was in town when the storm hit.
It was straight line winds. There was no funnel cloud or anything. It was just straight line, which you can tell by looking at the trees. They're all pointed one way.
One person told us it sounded like hail, but it was trees being uprooted. Volunteers spent around an hour cleaning up around the firehouse.
Me and my crew got out here as soon as we could and cut the thing off and did some other cutting. We got a good crew.
People here in Mount Zion, Missouri have been hard at work all day with chainsaws in their bare hands, cleaning up this debris ever since the storm hit, just after 3 o'clock this afternoon.
That's the reason there's so many trees down, is the ground's so soft, and there's nothing to hold it then.
And the wind started in, and things were hitting the windows.
Debbie and James Cox live in Mount Zion and said the storm sirens went off around 3.
You know, we was out of electricity for about an hour. And then there was some trees on the line, and they came and cut them off.
Worst damage I've seen has been right here on the campus. We just have to clean the mess up now. We've got everything to where it's operational. If we have a call for the fire department, why, we can roll.
Now, everyone we spoke with here in Mount Zion say it's been a few years since they've seen this kind of damage in their neighborhood, but fortunately, no injuries were reported today. Now, the power was out for about an hour here, but it has been restored. Wait.
That is good news. Okay, Matt Berman reporting live in Douglas County for us tonight. Thanks so much.
Our team coverage continues in the normally picturesque town of Cassville, where heavy rains forced more evacuations today. That area was already hit hard by flooding issues earlier this week. Main Street in Cassville closed for several hours today as water rushed over it. The director of emergency management says Cassville is called the city of 7 valleys, so when it rains, all the water rushes into Flat Creek, and when the creek doesn't have room for more water, that's when the flooding that we see here starts.
This was the scene as storms pushed through Republic earlier tonight. This is time-lapse video as the storms came in with strong winds and lightning.
The second round of storms this Thursday hit Springfield during the 7 o'clock hour this evening. A time-lapse of its arrival shows dramatic clouds that preceded the rains as they swept in from west to east.
Governor Jay Nixon is scheduled to tour some of the damage tomorrow in Barry County. Nixon is expected to tour the Roaring River State Park to see the flooding damage caused by this week's storms. He'll also discuss recovery efforts in the area and whether disaster funding could be available for those who suffered flood damage.
Much more team coverage of this week's storms online. There you can see photo galleries of the floods, pictures sent in from our viewers, as well as our reports from the areas hit hardest and some of the most dramatic flood footage we collected this week. All that and more right now on KSPR.com.
Also making news tonight, an update on the Claudinia Blanchard murder case. The man charged with stabbing her is back in Springfield. Police arrested Gypsy Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn last month in Wisconsin. Prosecutors have charged the couple with murder in Claudinia Blanchard's death. Police say Gypsy and Godejohn conspired on Facebook to kill her mother. They also say the Blanchards scammed people for many years by pretending Gypsy was disabled. Godejohn is scheduled to be in court in Springfield on Monday.
More than 700 active duty soldiers will be cut at Fort Leonard Wood by September of 2017. The cut's part of a federal move to reduce the number of soldiers overall to 40,000, a reduction of soldiers by 40,000 nationwide. Congressional representatives say the reductions at Fort Leonard Wood are lower than other Army posts.
In today's State of the City address, Springfield Mayor Bob Stevens announced the city is growing, and so is the city's problems with the justice system. The mayor says the Greene County Jail is one of the biggest challenges facing the city. Right now, there's no room because of overcrowding. It went over capacity just hours after the jail once again started accepting municipal inmates last night. Mayor also says there is a backlog of cases at the prosecutor's office.
The state has said they're not going to put any more money into public defenders. We've got to talk to our legislators, our senators in Jeff City and say, you know, that's unacceptable.
We're not going to stop arresting people. We're not going to stop presenting cases. I know the prosecutor is not going to stop filing charges.
City officials are talking about possible solutions to the jail problem.
Governor Jay Nixon has just signed a bill into law that will address some of the concerns raised after the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson. The law caps fines now for minor traffic violations. It also cuts back on how much revenue cities can collect from traffic fines and fees. Supporters say it will address some of the problems detailed in that scathing Department of Justice report on Ferguson. The city became known around the world last summer after a police officer shot Michael Brown dead, setting off protests and riots in Ferguson and across the United States.
Traffic alert if you're headed out tonight from Highway 65. The northbound Route 65 off-ramp to Battlefield Road will be closed at 11 p.m. and stay closed until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Crews are closing the ramp to do dirt work in the area close to traffic. Drivers can get around the closed ramp by taking the Sunshine Street exit and following detour signals to get back to Battlefield Road. Another person says no to the Donald. Coming up, who is standing up to Trump tonight and the consequences he could face.
And ahead in sports, how long Royals All-Star Alex Gordon will be out of action, plus why members of Drury's national championship team are back together again.
A doctor testifies in the Colorado shooting trial and clashes with attorneys. That story next on KSPR News at 10.